Forecast First, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Man, was it a nice day today? We have basically the same forecast for tomorrow. Right now, temperatures in the low 70s for the most part. 71 in Champaign, 73 in Decatur, 73 also in Jacksonville and Watseka. Springfield as well as Paris right now are the warm spots coming in at 75. But the sky today was really nice. We had a few more clouds out there earlier on. Now we're seeing a bit of clearing, as you can see in our Bratcher weather camera on a roof and dog eye from Champaign. Winds are comfortable out of the northwest right now between about 10 and close to 15 miles per hour. We expect a very comfortable backyard forecast tonight. And we are expecting warmer temperatures to be arriving by the weekend. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
Everybody was fearful for their lives.
Police say a woman fired a gun at a park. How witnesses say it all went down.
And we can't just keep doing this.
A judge says the governor can't stop inmate transfers, while county jails say the move lifts a burden off their shoulders. And disinfectant wipes have been a hot commodity since the pandemic started. But you won't easily find them in stores anytime soon.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 5.
She came up there to kill my son. I have no doubts in that.
But she didn't get that far. A Danville woman is behind bars after a shooting at a park. Good evening, I'm Jennifer Roscoe. Investigators say Janiyah Edmonds got into a fight with her child's father. She eventually, police say, started shooting at him. It happened at Winter Park on Saturday. Family members say they were at the park playing kickball at the time. WCIA 3's Courtney Bunting is with us now. So, Courtney, how did it get to that point?
Well, Jennifer, I talked to witnesses who were also family members, and they say, as you said, they were at the park just playing kickball, but Edmonds later showed up and started arguing with her child's father. Witnesses say one of them, again, was the father of her son named Micah England. At some point during that fight, witnesses say someone else drove up with a gun in their trunk, and Edmonds got that gun and pointed it in England's direction and shot twice at him. Then she stopped because the gun seemed to jam. She didn't hit him, but eventually she was arrested. We talked to the mother of the man who was shot, England. She didn't want to show her face, though, because of privacy reasons.
Everybody was fearful for their lives because she was running everywhere with that gun. We didn't know what to expect, and I thank God that the gun jammed.
Edmonds was in court today. She's facing several charges because of firing a gun, but family members of the man she shot say that's not enough. They say there were children at the park at the time, including Edmonds' own son, and that she should be charged with child endangerment because of it. Edmonds didn't have a FOID card, but she had to surrender it. I heard that today in court. A judge also ordered her to not have contact with the victim, her child's father. Jennifer?
All right, Courtney, thank you so much. Now, we talked to family members of the man who was shot at, Micah England. They say Edmonds has bothered him in the past. She's also harassed England's new girlfriend. Edmonds has one prior conviction of assault and disorderly conduct. New details now on a shooting in Champaign. Authorities say an 18-year-old was shot in the foot. It happened near the intersection of Devonshire Drive and Sandpiper Lane last night. Police say the victim was riding his bike when someone in a dark-colored car drove by and started shooting. People nearby say they heard the shots outside their homes. No arrests have been made. If you know anything, you're asked to call police. In Decatur, a teenager was shot last night. Officers were called to the area of South Jasper and East Cantrell Streets. They were responding to a shots fired report when they learned a gunshot victim had been dropped off at the hospital. Police say the 17-year-old victim was shot in his thigh. The shooting is still under investigation. Again, call police if you know anything. A Logan County judge has ruled the governor's rules barring inmate transfers during the pandemic are not allowed under the law. WCIA 3's Cole Henke has more.
County jails are constantly taking in new inmates, but since March, they have not been able to send them out as quickly. Governor Pritzker barred inmate transfers from county levels to Illinois Department of Corrections facilities for the entirety of the pandemic. But now, a Logan County judge ruled in favor of the Illinois Sheriff's Association in a lawsuit filed back in June. In a statement, Illinois Sheriff's Association Director Jim Kychek said, sheriffs and their staff have had to bear the burden of this responsibility since March 26, 2020. Far too many resources from sheriff's offices and others were required to bring this to fruition today. Some counties are having bigger problems with capacity limits than others are, but most are having problems meeting CDC and IDOC guidelines because of the increased number of inmates.
All we're going to do is continue to have more inmates pile up in here because the courts are going to continue to sentence these inmates, and we can't just keep doing this.
The Sangamon County Jail can normally hold 318 inmates, but right now they're at 341, with 52 inmates awaiting transfer. Reporting in Springfield, I'm Cole Hankey, WCIA3, your local news leader.
The Illinois Attorney General can appeal the judge's decision in a higher court. We reached out to the Department of Corrections for a comment, but we have not received a response. Taking a look at today's coronavirus numbers, the positivity rate in central Illinois is seeing some changes, both good and bad. In Region 3, which is Macon County to the west, it's up more than a point in the last week. It now stands at 5.2%. The good news, Region 6, which is the east side of the state, that number is down a tenth to 3.1%. There are more than 1,400 new cases in Illinois. That brings the total to more than 184,000. 19 more people have died. There are now more than 7,500 coronavirus deaths. More than 100 people who were tested for it in central Illinois won't see the results. A mobile clinic with public health spent a week testing people in Vermilion County. But officials say Redditus Lab in Pekin, which got the swabs from the clinic, it was overwhelmed and didn't process them in time. They say if you were tested between July 12th and July 24th and you didn't get results, you may need to get screened again.
967 residents showed up to get tested, and I know it's a hassle to get there and to wait in line and to be swabbed, and it can be uncomfortable, and I appreciate all the people who did it, and I regret the fact that some of those people who were swabbed, their samples did not get processed in a timely manner.
He says they re-invited the testing clinic but can't say if it'll come back. Public Health says they're working closely with the lab to make sure specimens are processed in a timely manner. For more information, you can head to our website at WCIA.com. At new tonight at 5, disinfectant wipes have been hard to find. I don't have to tell you that. And the shortage is now expected to last well into 2021. Clorox says it aggressively ramped up production, but that's still not going to be enough to keep up with demand. And this is the problem. The company says the entire supply chain of the ingredients to make those is stressed right now. It's going to take a year to reach the supply level necessary to meet customer needs. Federal legislation could be coming in honor of a Monticello girl who died of sepsis 8 years ago. Gabby Galbo died after going into septic shock because of an undetected tick bite. Today, Congressman Rodney Davis talked about the federal version of Gabby's Law. It would make all U.S. hospitals adopt and implement sepsis protocols. Sepsis is a life-threatening condition caused by an infection. Family and community members gathered at Gabby's gazebo, a place that honors her memory. Gabby's father says keeping his daughter's memory alive is what is important to him.
Me and a lot of my friends, we built it. We poured the concrete. We put Gabby's footprints in here with her own sandals, and we colored them her own colors, her favorite colors. The school built these beautiful butterflies they made. Then we had them painted, and it means a lot. It means the world that her name is still going on today.
More than 300,000 people in the United States die because of sepsis every year. It's also one of the most expensive conditions to treat. People in our town, Gibson City, have a big year ahead of them. How they're planning to celebrate a major milestone next year. Plus this.
Still, there's a lot of new people coming.
Millions of Americans no longer have emergency unemployment benefits coming in. How a food pantry is getting ready to help.